Bridget's going to talk about DPE, and then Nico and Leanne are going to talk about the new mandate offering. If you've got any questions for Bridget, just shout, because she's going full screen, so she won't be able to see any of you putting hands up or making internet gestures, whatever the expression is. So yeah, so I'll hand over to you, Bridget. It's all yours.
Okay then. Okay, so hello everyone. I hope my English will be good enough for you to understand what I want to say today. I am going to speak about the energy audit, which is mandatory from the 1st April 2023. The energy audit is something beside the DPE, okay, the DPE. It's not the DPE, it's something else coming into play within the DPE, okay? So mandatory energy audit by 1 April 2023 at CDV stage, okay? We need it to raise the CDV. Decree 2022-780 of 4 May 2022 on the energy audit mentioned in Article L 126.28.1 of the Construction and Housing Code. There is a decree within French. If you feel like having it, I am able to send it over to you so you can read it if you want to. This decree makes from 1 April 2023 the energy audit mandatory in addition to the ECD, but not all the ECD. We are going to see which one come into play with this. But there is this article number 3 who comes into play and is very important as well. It says, is subject to interpretation. So the answer to this question will depend on the position adopted by the notary. What is going to happen for all those CDV who has been signed before the 1 April 2023 and those CDV with DPE who will need the energy audit. Indeed, reference is made to the perfect sale in Article 1589 of the Civil Code, and as we know, sales concluded without suspensive and conditions are rare. So, for the CDV who has already been done, we might have to do it or we might not, and it will depend from the notary. So the notary will have to determine whether or not the conditions are lifted before the 1st April, and consequently, this will determine the need to have an audit drawn up or not. Is this clear enough or not? That's clear? The stakes for our sellers are high, so the compromise department will ask the notary for a written statement on this subject for each file as soon as possible. So this process is going through, and we will know which one will need to have it done or not. C'est clair ou pas? It's clear or not? That must be understood. Yes? No?
Yeah, clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, but I need to have the feedback. Energy audit, in which case? Privately, before carrying out any work. And secondary, as part, and it's where we are interested in it, as part of a property sale. Initially, this will apply to buildings with an ECD F or G classification for residential use that are offered for sale and include one or more dwellings, single-family homes or buildings with several dwellings that are not subject to the co-ownership system. Because with the co-ownership system, with condominium, there is a different rule, similar, but a bit different. And in a second phase, this audit will also be mandatory for all residential buildings subject to the condominium regime. And it will come into play with the DTG, with Diagnostic Technique Global. It comes into play with condominium.
Do they know when that is yet, Bridget? Or
Sorry?
do they know when that is yet?
It should come up for 2024.
Okay.
Okay. Knowing with the condominium, there is already an energy report which is done. It's not called exactly like this because it comes into place in several years now, but it will be a bit, it will have modification in it to stick to the energy audit. But with all the condominium having a collective heating, there is already an audit, an obligatory audit being done since 2, 3, 4 years now. That's clear? So it's not completely new for them. It's just going to be a bit different. Energy audit timetable. Implementation for individual dwellings and single owner buildings from April 2023 for dwelling classified F and G. Only those. So all our CDVs having DPE with this classification F and G, they are those who we will have to find out if we have to do or not the audit energy before the date of the sale. All the suspensive conditions are lifted. We will not to have it. If they are not, we will have to do it before 1st April. Regarding the, how do they call it, la vente parfaite, the perfect sale. That's clear or not? No? January 2025 for dwellings classified E, and January 2034 for dwellings classified D. So it goes a bit further in the timetable is a bit more, how can I say, easy for the one who are in E and D. D, 2034 is 10 years away. The auditor will propose several works scenarios within this energy audit associated with their cost in order to achieve at least the class E for dwellings classified F and G, and depending of the scenario, class B. It is valid for 5 years. When the audit is done, it's up for the 5 years coming up. So if somebody is buying a house with an energy audit, and if no works are done, nothing has changed, then it will be valid up to 5 years. If they sell the house again within 3 years, for example, they will be able to use it. If works have been done in the house, of course, they might not have to provide it because they might be in a better classification. This energy audit is not there to say you have to do it. It's there to say it's the best to do for you to get a better energy classification and to have a better lifestyle and whatever, to have a less expenditure in your energy cost and so and so. But you understand what I mean? It's not, you don't have to do, you have to do the report, but you don't have to do the job. the works. I am clear with this?
Yes.
Energy audit and condominium. Provisional timetable for the audit obligation for a co-ownership. It's 1st January 2024 for co-ownerships with more than 200 low. One flat is a lot, is a unit, you know, I should have wrote unit. 1 January 2025 for the co-ownership of 50 to 200 unit, and 1 January 2026 for co-ownership with up to 50 unit. The smaller they are, the more times they have to do it. Currently, as I said before, a similar energy audit is mandatory for co-ownership of more than 50 low and older than 10 years with a collective heating or cooling system. It will perhaps be put in parallel with the regulatory energy audit to be followed. That's what I said. There was already something done for the condominium, but this energy report was done, will be updated to this new energy audit report.
Brigitte, there's one question has come in on the chat, which is if the vendor does only some of the work recommended by the audit, do they then need to redo the audit?
For the sale? No,
Yeah.
the audit will be done. What will happen with those audits? When you will do the sale, you know, when you will have the client, the acquirer, the buyer in front of you, he will see this audit and he will say, oh, there is works needed to be done. Yes, sir, but see, this and this has been done. Here are invoices. You understand what I mean? You will be able to prove to the buyer that the works have been done with invoices, okay? Then the buyer won't be able to tell you, please take the price down because the energy audit report is asking a lot of works being done. That's clear the way I explain it or not?
Yeah, but if only some of the works are done,
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't make any difference. Okay.
No. Well, if you want to update it for the sale, you can, okay? But why to pay again for one energy audit? You could have a new DPE done after the works. Then you won't be anymore in F&G. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Then you will not have to provide an energy report. The DPE, the energy report will say you could do this, and this, and the works you will have done will improve your letter on the DPE. So the DPE will be done again. But if you are E or D, for example, you won't have to do the energy audit for the sale. That's clear this way?
Yeah, makes sense.
Bridget, sorry, Kevin. Bridget, I have a question because obviously we've had issues at the moment with the DPE reports where vendors are doing their own work and then they cannot provide invoices for the work that has been done. So the diagnosticers are not acknowledging that perhaps behind a plasterboard wall there is good insulation and they're still giving F&G reports. So if you're saying that we can do a new DPE report, we're still going to be in the situation where these vendors are going to have to provide some sort of invoices.
Yes. Well, you need to have something to prove it, you see. So the vendor, for example, can provide all the invoice for the materials he has bought to improve his insulation. The diagnostiker will see if the windows are with very thin glass or with a thick glass and a better insulation. That's clear what I am saying?
Yes,
Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So if there is invoice for the materials, okay, then the diagnosticer must give sense to what he's going to do. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
The invoice done by a company are mandatory and obligatory to ask reimbursement, to ask money back from my prime renov. You understand what I mean? If you do the job and you ask a firm to come into play to do it, and a regular firm with RGE, reconnu garantie de l'environnement, then you will be refunded, okay, for part of the work you have done. That's the point. But for the DPE by itself, the diagnosticer must take in account what has been done. He must give sense to his DPE, his OCD, sorry. That's clear what I am saying?
All
No.
clear.
Sure? So, to finish with the condominium, as soon as the audit has been carried out by the syndic, and the syndic must put the result of the audit on the agenda of the general meeting of co-owners in order to define together a plan for energy saving works or an energy performance contract. This now concerns all condominiums and not only those with a collective heating or cooling system. Who can achieve an energy audit? Who can do it? A professional whose competences are defined in the climate law and which was completed in May 2022 by the decree number 2022-780. The professional responsible for carrying out the energy audit must not have any ties that could affect his or her impartiality and independence with regard to the owner of the agent or the agent who calls upon him or her. It must be very independent. It's not a friend of mine who is going to do this because he's going to do what I am asking him to do. You know, it must be impartial and very serious. It says it like this in the law. For residential building comprising several dwellings, the qualified professionals are energy auditing office for building, tertiary and or collective housing, who has this qualification, OPQIBI 1905. It's a norm. Architectural firms and architects who are registered with the order and have undergone training. And they must have done the training, the architects, to do it, to be recognized for doing it. Okay? Now, in addition to the DPE, the auditor also relies on the available documents to estimate the annual energy consumption of the house in heating, lighting, and ventilation. Document requested from the seller, plans of the house, recent energy bills. I'm sorry, I'm going to put my, voilà, plug my computer. Recent energy bills, invoices for recent work, estimates of planned work. All what they have done in the house must be given to the auditor who is going to do this audit. So he will be able, with all those documents, to do the audit and say what is better to do. So, how this goes on? The 5 steps to the energy audit. First of all, he will come to visit of the property and inventory of fixture. What is going on in this house and what all this is made of. Technician collects invoices and data. He goes back home in his office and he does the analysis and date evaluation, assessment and cost of works, and define priorities regarding the house he has seen, and informing client about possible aids. All this must be done within the reports. The client must have a full overview of what's going on. Energy audit scenario and engineering studies. So the law says at least 2 energy efficiency improvement scenarios are provided by the auditor. The axis of the project being defined with priorities in the action to be taken. First scenario is to renovate the house in several stages. The first stage allows to gain at least 1 class and to reach at least the class E when you are F or G. An intermediate stage for F and G allows to reach at least the class C, so in second stage. And the final stage allows to reach class B. So the report is there to say to the owner, okay, you have, first of all, the opportunity to do the works within 3 different stages, 3 different steps. You don't have to do all of it at once. But at least at each step, you have to go to gain, to have a better classification and to reach the higher level. And the second scenario is to renovate the house in a single stage of work, so all together, all at once. The technician submits a second scenario of global renovation, allowing to reach at least the final energy class B. All what is going to be put on the table, all what the préconisation in French, sorry for the, I don't see the English word. All the préconisation will be given to the vendor, to the owner, will be to tend to an energy class B as much as possible. Okay? Of course, and we will see it a bit later on, but all this will come up with cost, how much this will cost, okay? And then the vendor will be able to decide which one he does and when he's going to do it. When he will open his file with MyPriv-Renov department, then he will have to provide this energy audit. We will see it a bit later on. And then he will get a refund each time he will send invoices proving he has done the job.
Brigitte?
Oui.
Regarding the renovation costs, do you know how they obtain the prices? Is it based on local companies, or is it just do they have a standard at national level for different works?
There is national level standards. Okay, I have some of it at the end of the PowerPoint. I will show it to you. And they can have also devis. I don't remember how you say in English. Done by codes. Thank you. Done by a firm. Okay, they can use both of it. So the 6 recommended workstation are, and it's a recommendation coming from the ADEME with a specific firm, government department with working on this. So we have a roof insulation, low floor insulation, wall insulation, replacement of joinery, heating and hot water production, and ventilation. So when they will do their report, they will say, it's just an example, this one, you know, but in French, les sources de déperdition de chaleur thermique, you have understood. Ventilation is there. Toiture, 30%. So what will they recommend first to do? It's to come into play within the roof, because it's there with the most of the heating is going away. 25% by the walls, so they will recommend to do something by the outside on the walls to get a better insulation there. So you see, there is a soil, there is a pont thermique. You know what is pont thermique? It's when there is insulation in a place, but not in, oh, how can I say this in English? My God. One of you can explain this for me or not? Pont thermique. How can I explain? There is here.
Can I try it, Brigitte?
Yes.
So a thermal bridge is there. It's where insulation doesn't meet itself. For example, you have if you have beams, or if you have typically you have a window, you can insulate on the inside, but the window will still be a thermal bridge. So where insulation is not continuous, everywhere where there's a gap because of the structure, that's a thermal bridge.
Thanks ever so much. So come into play with this, and comes into play with the windows, of course. The more the windows are recent, the better they are, if it's an evidence. OK? Adam, it's the adjoint à l'Agence de l'environnement et de la maîtrise de l'énergie. OK? They are very, very, ils sont très compétents. There is a lot of competence in this agency. That makes things clear or not for you? This one is very important, the derogation, exemption energy audit. So, by way of derogation from first and second of 2 of article 2, if the technical, architectural heritage or cost characteristic of the work was defined in article R112-18 of the CCH, Code de construction de l'habitat, do not allow for the achievement of performance class B. We will speak about our old house and particular one. The course of work provides for the treatment of the 6 items of work mentioned in Article 2 and allows for the achievement of at least performance C for class E, building before works. Performance D for class F, building before work. Performance class E for class G, building before works. So you see, if you have a particular house, old ones, in a particular area or whatever, and then the auditor says, we can't achieve something to get the class B because it's just technically not possible, or the cost is going to be so high that it's not worth and possible to do it, then l'exigence, they will have to go to class a bit lower. Does that make sense the way I said it?
So you're basically talking about chateaus?
Yes, not exact, not unless chateau, old houses, and when we will be able to see this for a village where there is the ABF, the Bâtiment de France, you know, and they want to keep a very, with houses with characters, That's clear or not?
Yeah, so kind of houses in view of a monument historique and things like that.
Yes. So if the house is not a monument historic, but the village is placed as so, the characteristic of the houses can come into play with this as well. You see? So it gives some.
Who decides that the property cannot have an energy audit? Who decides this? Is it the auditor or is it?
It's not going to have an energy audit. They will have it.
Okay, they'll have the energy audit, but they
yes, but they will not have to. The recommendation won't be so drastic.
Okay.
You know? And they won't have to do works to come to the class B. They will have to do works to come down to the class C, D, or E. Okay.
Okay, I'm with you.
Because they can't achieve a performance of class B because the way it's built right from the beginning, because it's a very particular characters house, and it works for chateau, of course. The 6 work items are considered to be addressed when the auditor certifies that they have been upgraded to a high level of performance using the best available compatible technologies with the characteristic of the building concerned. So you see, it's going to help for some houses. For some building. Okay. The result of the energy audit are presented in a summary report by the technician who carried it out. 1. First of all, a summary report in PDF format 2 and a standardized summary in XML format, which includes all the data entered by the auditor and those calculated for the audit. So you see, even there, the law says the way it has to be done and sent to the client. French, I did not translate it as well, on purpose. French commercial argumentary. Et si bonne raison de rénover votre maison au niveau BBC, you could say to the vendor, you know, divisez par 2 voire 3 vos factures d'énergie, you will win money with your energy bill. Améliorez votre confort, it will be a lot more comfortable. Respirez un air plus sain grâce à une ventilation efficace. Hein. Good air. Valorisez votre patrimoine. You know, we are estate agent. We know how it works. Hein. We know that a house is well maintained and in good condition have a better valorization than in a bad condition. So, valorisez votre patrimoine. And that's very important, but because we don't know how long it will last. But people who are doing it right now in 2023, for sure, they will be able to get some aids and to be refunded for part of the job. And that is very important. Have you all read what has been sent to you by Sandy in February? And if my memory is good, it's February the 2nd. You have this by email. You have a PDF of coming from my Prime Rénov who explain all of it, one in French and one in English. Do you remember this? And the last one is lutter contre le réchauffement climatique. This is the commercial argumentary for this audit report. What is the price? The diagnostic has a cost, and it will depend from the configuration of the house and what needs to be done. So it's going to be between 500 and 1,200 euros. It is what I've heard. Okay. So each one I've been speaking of about told me this average. So I hope it's something true, but as I'm saying, it's what I have been told. So between 500 and 1,200 euros for an individual person, perhaps a bit more if the property is very huge, and it can cost up to 10,000 euros for a condominium. And a very big condominium can go up to 15,000. I've been told this by my daughter who is working for a condominium, and she told me in a very huge one they paid 15,000 euros. Important. It's possible to get a part of this expenditure refund within my prime renov under condition. That means if the owner decides to do part of the job and some works, he can have part of this expense refund, but he has to do the job. Okay? For the owners who are going to sell the house and they have a DPE with a letter F or G, okay, they will have to do the audit energy, the energetic audit, pardon, and they will have to pay for it. It's something more to pay. If they do the jobs, they will be able to get part of it refund. How can I ask my prime renov? It's very, very simple. I am sorry, I have forgotten to translate this, but I have done a big effort to do it in English, so you are going to do a little effort to understand it in French. Thank you. So first of all, je crée mon compte et je dépose ma demande avec les devis. I will create my account within my prime renov. I will give you the link for the website, and I create an account. And I will put in it, and I will scan and send over all the codes I have had from the companies who have done the code, okay? I will get a confirmation, and then regarding the expenditure I will have sent, the cost of the code, they will tell me how much I will be able to get back. It's clear? Third, as I know now how much I will get back, okay, I said, okay, it's going to cost me, I say, 15,000 euro, but I will have back 1,000 euro. It's okay. I go ahead and I do the job, the works. So I do the job and then the work, sorry, with the companies, and they will send me all the invoices. Then I will scan the invoice and I will in my account in La Prime Renov. And as soon as I will send invoices, then the refund amount will be sent to me straight away. I will have not to do anything else. I send the code, they tell me how much I can get. I do the works, I ask companies to do the works. I receive invoices, I send them to the Prime Renov in my file, in my account over there, and then they give me back the money. And then as the money is back on my bank account, I can give the money to the companies. Very important, all the works must be done by a company with the label RGE, reconnu garante de l'environnement. The company must be reconnu garante de l'environnement. And this must be on their invoice. Be sure they are. There is a file where you can check who is there and who is not there. Not who is not there, but who is there. If you ask for a name and the name is not there, it's because they are not. I will suppose that some company could try to cheat about it. So be careful with that. Sure, they are RGE. And I know this can be checked. To get reimbursement, okay, the government decided to link the amount of the reimbursement to the income of the family. So the one for a family where there is a single person, 2 persons, 3 persons, and so and so. For one person, if they're owning underneath 14,879 euro, then they will have the biggest refund. The more they own, okay, the less they get. To get back something on the cost of the report, okay, if they are in the blue here, they will get back 500 euros. If they are in the yellow one, Prime Rénov', then they will have 400 euros. If they earn a bit more money and they are in the violet Prime Rénov', then they will get back from the report 300 euros. And if they are in the rose, pink color, then they will have nothing for the report, okay? Now, for the cost, the refund of the cost of the jobs, of the works, okay, they will have an amount will be given regarding their resource, their income. Is that clear or not? Ça c'est,
Brigitte?
ça c'est, sorry, I just finished. Niveau plafond de ressources en Île-de-France, if for the one who are earning money in Paris and around Paris, Île-de-France, okay, and there is another board who says for the person outside Île-de-France, the rest of the country. Pardon, oui, la question?
This is only for fiscal residents, for French fiscal residents, right?
It's for French fiscal resident. No, you could have somebody having something. I will say an English person living in England and having a house in France, and renting it as a residence principale. Okay, renting it, having a tenant in it as a residence principale, okay, for the tenant, not for tourism, okay? Then you will be able to get this, to get the prime, okay? You know why? Because he will have resources coming out of his renting, so he will be fiscal resident in a way, okay? It will be between the both, between England and France, okay? But it will be France as well. And as he is renting as a residence principale his house over here, okay? Then he will be able to get money out of the works. That's clear or not?
Yeah, so it's because he declares revenues in France that he can claim this participation,
yeah. And
but
because,
otherwise not.
And because it's not his residence principale, d'accord? It's a secondary home which is renting, which is rent, okay? There is a tenant in it, okay?
So if it's just a vacation house, So if it's just a vacation house that they use several times a year, that is not rented out as a permanent residence,
No.
then they count.
He has to be rented out as a principal residence. The person who is going to rent it must have it as a principal resident.
It's clear.
Okay?
Okay, Bridget, I understand that. Bridget, I understand that. But what we're saying is do they have to still declare that in France, or what if they're declaring that in the UK and not in France?
Well, there is international, il y a des, je vais dire en français, il y a des accords internationaux fiscaux au niveau de la fiscalité. You have to declare in France all the earnings you have in France, you have to declare it in France, okay? And with certain countries, you have to declare it in the other country as well, okay? And there is a balance between the tax office of the two countries who are made, okay? To be sure the person is not going to pay twice taxes on this, okay? But it can be considered as a French fiscal resident because he's renting, I insist on it, he's renting his house as a residence principale to somebody. That's clear or not? Can I say it in French?
No, it's good.
Lorsque l'on a une résidence en France et que l'on est étranger, que l'on n'habite pas, qu'on est déclaré résident mais à l'étranger, d'accord? Tous les revenus que l'on reçoit en France doivent être déclarés en France et ils sont taxés. Maintenant, il y a des accords internationaux au niveau de la fiscalité. C'est-à-dire qu'une personne qui est sur 2 pays, d'accord, on va faire en sorte qu'elle ne paye pas 2 fois la même taxe. Il va y avoir compensation. Exemple, en France, les revenus fonciers sont taxés, je dis n'importe quoi, à 10%. En Angleterre, les revenus fonciers sont taxés, par exemple, à 12%. Il paiera 10% en France et 2% en Angleterre supplémentaires. Comme il aura déjà payé 10% en France, on ne lui fera pas payer la globalité là-bas. Ça dépend de chaque pays et ça dépend de la fiscalité de chaque pays. Mais quelqu'un qui a un bien en France et qui le loue en France, il doit déclarer ses revenus en France. Et en plus, ils doivent les déclarer bien souvent dans leur pays dans lequel ils résident principalement. Et il y a une balance qui est faite entre les deux. That's clear or not?
Yes.
Maintenant, on peut cumuler les aides. You can have several aids. You have the one coming out of MaPrimeRénov'. For some of those works, you can have what we called mortgage, which is called éco-prêt à taux zéro, specific for this type of works. We can have another help coming out from ANA, c'est l'Agence nationale de l'aménagement et de l'habitat. So under certain conditions, you can have this help as well. You can have as well aide des collectivités locales et aide des fournisseurs d'énergie. Some of those gives aid as well. With those two, if there is money coming out to help the owner out of collectivité locale ou out of fournisseur d'énergie, provider of energy, this will impact the prime rénov. This one will come down a little bit. It will not come or this one, but if you have this one plus this one plus this one, okay, this one will come down a little bit. But altogether, it will be better to have this plus this plus this than only this. That's clear or not?
It's getting complicated.
Yeah, but you can have several aids. But But what is a good thing who is going to help you? Doc envoyé par email par Sandy Guillonnet. OK? Vous avez le guide des aides en français et en anglais. Sur ça, vous l'avez tous eu. D'accord? Et vous avez tout ce que je vous ai dit ici. In details for heads. OK? So this can help for your English vendors. So you see? Have you seen this? Have you read it? Have you read it?
No, I'm
Look at,
sorry.
look at your email box from February the 2nd, 2023. Okay? If you want, Kevin, I can send it back to you just in case. It's in French and it's in English. And there is a guide for the Prime Rénov'. It's from November 2022, but it's in French. Okay? But I think you will understand. Is
Yeah,
it clear
Bridget,
for
if you can, Bridget, if you
it's
can,
a bit better or not?
Bridget, if you can send that back to me, and I'll send it out again just in case people have mislaid it.
Yeah. So have you understood what I wanted to explain to you? That's okay or not?
Bridget,
With my beautiful English.
yeah.
Very good.
Sorry, Bridget, I have a question.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been going to the notaires, and the notaires are asking my clients if they've had any work done in the Prime renovation category, and if they can provide invoices, because they're being told that if the work has been done less than 6 years ago, then they are supposed to be paying the money back. So when they had this €1 loft installation, for instance, that maybe cost
That's different. That's when people get money, you know, to do the job. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Prime, the job is done for €1, okay, and you are going to sell the house afterwards. Yes, you have to pay back. Yes.
And it's if the work was
Because
done,
when you have done works, you have not paid nothing for it, or only €1. This has increased the price of the house. Okay.
Okay.
So he has to be paid back. You have, honestly, I don't have in head how long you have to keep the house. So it's not the Prime Rénov', it's different. Okay, it's a different dispositif. It's not the same. Okay. The audit, the energy audit, okay, to be clear, is there to say to the buyer, you are going to buy your house in such condition, okay? This house, to be better, will need this kind of works, and the price is going to cost. And I can tell you, this will put the price down of the house, because what will they do? They will ask the owner to get the price down. No, if at least part of it, part of the cost of the jobs, of the works. No, it's not there as an obligation. It's there as an information to give to the buyer, and it's like an incentive for the vendors, for the owner. No, I will not say the vendors. It's an incentive for the owner to do job and to have a better climate rank rate.
Bridget,
Oui.
sorry, I've got a couple of questions, please.
Mm-hmm.
Is it true that the energy audit has to be done by the person who did all the diagnostics?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
You don't have to do it by the diagnosticer. You do it by a certified person. Some diagnosticer have followed the course and they are able to do it. They have the qualification for. Some have not. They don't have it. Now in France, you have companies who are specialized in this, and they can provide the audit as well. And personally, if I had to do works on my house to improve all the energy system and all of it, I would prefer to ask to a specialized person with competence, ingénieur en énergie, than to someone who a diagnostiker is not un ingénieur specialized in this, no? C'est pas un ingénieur spécialisé en économie d'énergie.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Who is going to this? Does that make sense for you or not?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Because the person who I asked about it, who does diagnostics, said that we also had to include a professional valuation from the agent for each report to validate it. Have you ever heard of that before?
We have to include, they might propose to do it, but you don't have to do it with them.
No.
Okay?
Okay.
You have to use the DP, the ECD they have done, okay? Because it will be the starting point of the studies analysis for the auditor who is going to do it. That's why in the law, they don't speak about diagnostiker. They speak about auditor. As one, the technician will come into play and do it. But there is some diagnostiker. If they have the qualification and the quality expected to do it, they can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other question?
Brigitte,
Oui.
is there a centralized place where we find all the companies that can do audits?
Yes. So you can find it out of, I think it's said in one of the documents who have been sent to you. I have not it in hand right now, but où c'est que je l'ai mis? No, I will. It's not that. I will find it out and I will send it to you, Kevin, as well. Okay, where you can find the people able to do it as well.
Good, thank you.
Okay, good. So, I think if anyone else has got any more, I'm conscious of the time. If anyone else has got any more questions that come up, if you send them to me, and then I'll kind of collate them all together and get some answers together. I think Karine is putting together some kind of leaflet outlining all this kind of stuff for our sellers. And I don't know whether our marketing going to do it. I mean, presumably some of this will go into the new how we market your property guide. Is there going to be anything coming out of marketing for the sellers and the buyers about this kind of stuff? Or Nico?
Nico's just on a call at the moment, but
Oh,
yes,
okay.
we'll certainly, we'll be working with him. So between Karine, the training department and marketing, we're certainly going to look towards putting together something cohesive that an agent can then just give the sellers. So it just makes it a little bit easier for you guys when you're presenting all of this information to the sellers. So yeah, we'll be certainly working on that for you.
Yeah, because it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be a big shock to some of the sellers if you suddenly go, yeah, there's another €1,000 you've got to pay out.
Yeah,
For an
absolutely.
audit on your €18,000 house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's one more. It's one more coming up, and it's well, it's only F&G, so we are going to minimize F&G only.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of empty,
it begins to be a lot.
uninsulated houses. But, yeah.
It begins to be a lot. I understand. Okay, then. So bye everyone, and thanks for your attention. Bye.
Thanks, Bridget.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. So any questions, wang them to me, and I'll sort them all out. Leanne, can you just kind of take over the screen now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will share my screen. I've got a presentation today on the new mandate offer that came in on the 6th. So let me just make sure that everything is sharing correctly. Is that showing on the whole screen, or is that showing? Yep, so the whole screen is showing. Wonderful. Okay, so Nico's joined me. He's here waving in the corner. So we're both here. The reason being is we've rolled out this new mandate offering on the 6th of March. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to look through, obviously, the offering when it was emailed out. And it's just a case that we're here today so we can go through step by step any of the changes, all the things that we are offering. And then what I've done as well is we've added in our general sort of Leggett USPs in for sort of the core offering, and then also USPs for the mandate privilege, which is taking over the exclusive. So hopefully at the end of this, you might be inspired or go away with a few other ideas of how you can talk to your sellers at mandating stage about the different services that we offer, and essentially why go with Leggett. So if you've had a chance to go through our new mandate offerings, so first of all, we've done a rebrand of the exclusive, and it's now called the privilege, hoping it's a mindful decision to change the name, because we do know that sometimes with the name exclusive, sometimes you can have sellers feeling like they don't want to get locked into an exclusive. So it's removing any negative connotations from that named mandate. And then we've got our international mandate, which is the mandate sampler. So if we're looking through all the different points, the top half are the core fundamentals that are included in both of our mandate offerings. Obviously a local agent, that's you are the greatest asset out in the field. So any seller obviously would be delighted to work with you as a person. So that's the fundamental. The local property agent, you're the expert in the area. The second core offering is our adverts bilingual, not to mention multilingual staff head office. So there's all of that support at head office, and our superior marketing quality. So we all know we take a huge amount of pride in our photography and presentations. So the core mandate obviously includes our marketing and our multilingual team. We've also got and really push the fact that we can complete all of our paperwork digitally. So this is something that we've been working with for a long time. So DocuSign, a lot of sellers and buyers are really, really comfortable using e-documents, particularly after COVID. It's become quite a normal way of working, but it still does give us that competitive edge. Not all of our competitors are working like that. So that is a really good USP. It means we can really get a property to market quickly if mandates are being signed electronically, and it means agreeing offers as well if they're signed electronically as well. So we have that competitive edge in terms of speed and turnaround of our paperwork. We also have all of our marketing tools in terms of the property, so our 360 tours, virtual tours, floor plans, everything like that. So it does mean better presentation, better price, and a quicker sale essentially as well. So part of our core offering, it really is providing that additional marketing that will get sellers the best possible price for their property. So as we can see, it does say subject to condition against that one, and that again will be down to resources. So if as an agent you've got the facility to do the I Spy, the 360, we've just left it in there so it's negotiable by you. If you're confident doing floor plans, again, if it's a prestige property, you might have additional support from head office when marketing that. So we've left that a little bit sort of flexible, so you can tailor that offering to how you like to work. The next one we have is our two biggest websites. So 75% of our buyers come through French estate agents or Leggett Immobilier website. That's a huge asset. And it's something that a lot of our competitors don't offer. The fact that we've got so much traffic and so many buyers registering through our own portals is really, really positive. So again, all the properties are marketed on both of those. We've also got an unrivaled amount of international marketing, which is all offered as part of our core package as well. So it'd be difficult for many of our competitors to match our international marketing efforts. Nico says it's impossible, so there we go. This is a huge USP, and I mean I think it's really good. So we've really spent a lot of time and money, and the marketing department have worked really hard to make sure that we've invested in the right portals, and you can then have confidence in talking about that with your potential sellers as well. And then the final aspect of our core package is local portal presence as well. So we've got Le Bon Coin and C'est Léger, and they're the two biggest French portals the property is marketed on, and essentially that really helps and buoys our local presence for the French market as well. So across the board, we've got excellent coverage for the national, the local property market, and then the international market as well.
If I may add, if I may just add a few words on the portals, on the French portals. So we are basically on all the main ones, which are Le Bon Coin, Se Loger. When I mean Le Bon Coin, it's Le Bon Coin Group, because they have a couple of other portals. Se Loger, and same, it's the whole group, so Se Loger and Logikimo. Then we are on Bien Ici, which is the third portal in France in terms of audience, and we also are on FNAIM. So we are in the top. We are on the most important French portals as well. And a lot of other smaller portals that won't generate as many leads as those four main ones, but still increases our presence on the national in France actually.
Thank you.
Are we on Bien? Sorry, Nick. Are we on Bien Ici as well?
Sorry?
Are we on Bien Ici as well?
I've said it.
Oh, sorry.
So, yes, but however, I shouldn't have said it because I haven't announced it. It's going to come next week, so you know it. But all the properties will be on Bien Ici, okay. But you will know more next week.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the third one in France. We are on Le Bon Coin, Se Loger, and we added Bien Ici. Basically, it's also a negotiating tool for us because Le Bon Coin and Se Loger were not really happy for us to work with the third player. So there's only a small technical issue, and it will be solved next week, and then you will receive an email explaining how it works. But basically, you know it already. It's going to be all properties.
Okay. Do we know for all the international portals? Do we have any idea of the number of kind of page views and visitors that these portals get, so we can say to vendors, your property will be in front of 80 million potential buyers?
So it's one at the top of my head. Yeah, at the top of my head, it's 100 million. 100 million people reached. I don't number because the portals change as well. We constantly make changes. So there are the main ones like Realtor.com and MLS.com that will not change, but there are also other ones. When we see that they don't perform, then we get rid of them and change it with another one.
It would just be nice. It'd be nice for the agents. It'd be nice for the agents. It'd just be nice for the agents to be able to say we are reaching 3 times as many clients as Safety, or 4 times as many clients.
I'll try and find one, but basically, it's all the properties are in front of a potential of 100 million people.
Can we have a list of the main portals?
So you will see it later in the presentation. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Can you explain about?
Sorry, go on. Sorry. That's all right. Go on. Sorry, I have a question.
I wanted to know the rotation of properties. It's one of the conditions, I assume, for the simple mandates.
Yes.
And what does it mean exactly?
So basically, all the new mandat simple, so mandat international, will be put will be on the portals if they match the price conditions as well. So, for instance, on Le Bon Coin, from what I remember, it's the property must be over 20K. 20,000 euro. On Se Loger, I think it's between 20 and 800,000 euro. So, and then the new ones will be on the portal for a certain period of time, depending on how many mandates every month, every new mandate we get. But at the moment, it's every property stays more or less 4 weeks, and then is replaced with the new ones, if that makes sense. Does it?
And that's for the simple. And if it's an exclusive, they stay there without restrictions,
3 to
right?
6 months, yes.
Exactly. So for the core offering, it's essentially like a rotation system for the marketing. So again, it's one of those factors that you can use to drive people towards perhaps the mandat privilege, because you have that then consistent marketing, essentially. Sarah, did you have a question at all? You had your hand up on here. Has that answered your question? No. Okay. Right, so moving on to the second part. So moving on to the additional things that with the mandat privilege, we've got seamless continued marketing. So we just spoke about that. Essentially, the advert will retain its slot for a longer period of time. So additional ways that you can work with that is if we do come to a time towards the end when the time slot is expiring as such, you can still use things like avenants and price drops to refresh that marketing as well. So there's lots of key ways and tactical ways that you can keep the marketing fresh. So an avenant will launch its cycle again, essentially. So if something isn't selling, so for instance on the exclusive, if it's the 3 to 6 month expiry period, so it is a little bit longer, by 6 months, if that property hasn't sold, you're probably going to be looking at an avenant anyway. So either the marketing and the photos need changing, or you're going to be looking at a price drop. So what we can do is work with the marketing to help guide the sellers towards the different ways that they can keep their marketing fresh. And a really common tactic is to say, let's get an avenant. You get onto that separate section of the avenant on our website itself, and it also refreshes those marketing slots. So you can use that as a way to guide your sellers when you do need those price drops as well. So we've got the diagnostics. So we're now refunding up to 600 euros. On the PDFs, some agents did say they don't tend to use the diagnostics as a sort of a sweetener in the exclusive offer. So it's optional. So we have a PDF version of this that does include and reference the diagnostics, and then we have a version that doesn't. So again, it's up to you how you want to use that, but it's now refunded up to 600 euros. And then the last couple of options, which I'm going to go into, is something that Nico's been working on, and I think it's brilliant. Superior marketing, we've got City Scan, we've got the slidey YP home staging, that's the professional word for it, home staging, which really does make a huge difference to a property's marketing power. So I will certainly show you, and we'll go through those in a moment. What we have next is our recap of the core offerings. So it's really, really important, obviously, when we're looking at the mandat, is to really keep reiterating and reminding sellers of all the things that we are able to offer over a competitor agency. We can do, obviously, the estimation reports. You've got the local knowledge. So it's a combination of Legit and our sort of complete USP package, but then also you're the agent in the local area. You're going to have your own set of USPs. So you might have a particular way of working with your clients. You might do viewings on a Sunday when your competitor agent maybe doesn't do that. You might work particularly with professionals who need viewings sort of after hours. So you're going to have a whole range of USPs in how you work as an agent. So make sure that you're really confident in expressing what you can offer the seller as well. We're a multilingual agency. The head office support is quite unrivaled. You've got a legal department, the seller's got the support of the contract department. If all the paperwork's in place, a compromis de vente can be written up in really, really quickly. These are all factors that other agencies aren't able to offer. We've got quality marketing, photography, 360, floor plans, virtual viewings. So for the international buyers, you're able to reassure the seller that you're able to offer a complete package for people. So when they come to view the property, you know that it is very likely that they might be looking to place an offer, because our marketing is so comprehensive that by the time it gets to viewing, it is likely that it's going to be a property that's really suitable for them. International marketing that's unrivaled, our French portals, and then we've got the digital sales process, and then obviously for sale boards. Classic estate agent sale boards are obviously very, very popular. The Boyd privilege offering is even more superior marketing coverage, the reimbursement of the diagnostics, the city scan and home staging, and then there is the exclusive for sale board as well. If I share my screen with, let me just show you the home staging. We have here I think Nico has sent this out. Has everyone seen the resource page? Are you viewing the resource page at the moment? Have I shared that properly with you?
Yep.
Yes. Perfect.
Yes.
So if you jump onto the resource site, this is the home staging. I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at it. I think this is wonderful. I wish I could just do this to my house, but I can't. So I will share my... Brilliant, I will. What I'll do is I'll share my presentation with you after this. So you've got all the links to these pages that you might need. But this for me is a wonderful tool to show a potential seller. So I don't know how many of you work with a laptop or a tablet when you do a mandat, but there's no reason you can't start pulling up this information and showing them. There's nothing better than a demonstration when you're with a potential client. So
if I may add one thing, one thing that can be said to your vendors is that it's a really professional tool, even though it's available for them. The cost for one picture, if you want to buy it for yourself, is €100. And that's offered. We include it in our exclusive privilege offer.
Yeah, so there is a financial cost to it, and it's something that they'll have included in as part of that package. So I think it's a great USP. City scan. Has everyone looked at city scan? Do you know what that might be on the advert that's been added?
I just wanted to add something about that the home staging things. I did some testing of that when Nico was first looking at it, and it's much more effective, I think, on the kind of crappy properties that we sell. It really looks effective, even on a kind of like a barn renovation, just to be able to see what it would look like. Sometimes on a kind of an ordinary house, we've had vendors go, but I prefer it the way I've done it. You know, so.
It works. It works on empty properties, properties to be renovated, and some properties we have all seen properties that are really over furnished or really old-fashioned furnished. So the people behind the home staging 3D, because every single one is done by hand manually. For it's a real person that does it. They will get rid of everything and replace it with brand new stuff. They have a partnership with Maison du Monde. It's a brand. Maybe some of you know it. It's a medium-high range brand, and we are working on getting also for our vendors special deals if they want to buy stuff from Maison du Monde as well, like a 25% discount or something.
Excellent. So yeah, it's a really great feature, and I think hopefully it will really sort of tempt sellers to sort of move towards the privilege mandate with us. The City Scan is again a really excellent tool. I will share my screen again with you just so you can have a little look at that. So what we have here is we have an advert here that is an exclusive. Has that shared properly? Are you looking at the advert with me as we scroll down? Yeah. So here we have an example of an advert which has all of these features on it. So again, if you have a property and you want to share this with a seller and you can walk them through how their property advert will look, we obviously have all the standard information and the characteristics. This agent has done their sort of 360 tour as well. So we've got an example of that. And then here we have City Scan, which essentially provides all of the information in the local area. So all the amenities, the transport, commerce, if there's bars, whatever it might be. And
internet communication.
Internet communication.
Broadband, if that's 4G or 3G. And rest assured that it will only give positive assets of the property. If the property does not have 4G, for instance, or high-speed internet, the numeric here is not going to be in there. It will only show the good stuff about the property.
So that's, again, a really, really useful tool, because what we're finding, and I think since COVID, there's so much information available for buyers, so they really want to have all of this information at their fingertips so they can make an informed decision before they even come to arranging viewings. So the more information that we can provide those potential buyers, it really just sets us aside from private adverts on the Bon Coin, our competitors, and it's just using technology to our advantage. And this is how the home staging is demonstrated on one of our adverts. So it's interactive, and you can see how people can just scroll across. So with our privilege mandate, the marketing and the quality of the information that we can send out on our adverts, it really is quite unique, and it is something that I think people are expecting now, with with sort of the technology and our ability to sort of provide this information over our competitors. So I'll come back to my presentation. Let me just jump back on that. So
sorry, do you know when we're getting the new skin on the English website?
Sorry?
Do you know when we're getting the new skin on the English website? Or?
Yes, we will.
Good.
I guess it's not the answer you were expecting. You were expecting that. No, we will. I know Marie-Georges is working really hard on it. I have seen a few mock-ups. I don't have them here with me, unfortunately. However, it's going to look really, really good, and we will not only advertise properties, we will also advertise the area. So there will be a regional pages with like a lot of information about every single area, what to do when you come there as a tourist, whether well, all the things that people are interested in. We will have we are taking a real step forward compared to the competition. And that's I unfortunately don't have a deadline. I hope to see it by the end of the year.
Okay.
Okay. Have we got any other questions at this stage? Nope. Okay. So moving on, just to sort of continue going through some of our USPs. So we looked at the sort of the change in the mandates and the different offerings that we've added to it and any changes that we've made. But just coming back to basics, if you need sort of any more inspiration, I will share this presentation with you. But in a nutshell, over our competitors, we've got over 20 years experience. We've got a really strong international and local market. It's nearly 50-50 source of buyers and vendors. It sort of fluctuates a little bit each month, but do use those statistics. If you're with a French vendor, or if you're with an international vendor, pick and choose the USPs that you think are particularly relevant to that person to really appeal to them. And the marketing that we can offer, the competition will struggle to sort of rival it, essentially. And what I've done is we've broken down a couple of USPs for our French market, so the French portals, our coverage, our high street presence. Again, having worked in high street agency and worked in prop tech, I've had companies where I've sat in an office and I've had companies where I work remotely. And really what we have here is a hybrid. The fact that we've got offices in all of our major cities, someone might walk into a Paris office, look on the Leggett website, want to buy in rural France. The opportunities and the USP in itself there is quite unusual as well. That's certainly Keller Williams and other sort of hybrid companies can't offer that. So a high street presence is still there, which is important. We've got predominantly sort of French workforce in the head office as well, so that's really appealing, obviously, for our French clients. But we do have that exposure to the international market, which is also incredibly appealing. With our international market, some of our USPs are our international teams in the field. We've obviously got lots of different spoken languages at head office as well. We're on the British marketing portals, so there's a lot of companies that can't offer that. So Rightmove Overseas, Zoopla, other portals like that. We regularly featured on British TV. We do exhibitions in the UK, in Ireland, in Holland. Our in-house admin and legal team are there to assist the client. So international clients might have slightly different needs and different elements of hand-holding they might need through the process. Our internal documents, we've got translations, so our clients feel really comfortable with the information that we're providing to them. And then we do have affiliate companies, so foreign exchange, mortgages, furniture removals. So there's all these ancillary companies that we can recommend and hopefully make our international clients and our local clients sort of moving process a little bit smoother. So aside from what Leggett does, obviously the biggest USP is you as the agent. So no one is going to know the area better than you. You've been working there. You're going to know if you've sold the neighbour's house. That's a really, really important key feature. And then how you can help using yourself as a USP to win that exclusive is essentially the relationship that you build with the seller. They probably want one point of contact. They want to have the same conversation with 3 different estate agents. You've got one key holder. Do they want to risk the security of lots of people coming and going? Have they shut the shutters? Have they locked the back door? I think we've all been in a situation when it's multi-agency and someone's left a door open and everyone blames the other agency, whatever it might be. So it's really good just to make sure there's one point of contact. That's a great USP to go exclusive. Professional advice, you've got the legal support at head office. So if any questions do come up that you're not quite sure how to answer, we've got people like Brigitte, Sandy, who've got all of that information or can find out for you. So you've got all of that support, which in turn obviously supports the sellers as well. And when you're working as a single agent and a sole agent with a seller, it means you've got complete control over the marketing. A competitor agency is not going to have better marketing and photographs and floor plans than we will or you will provide. So it's about keeping that quality and consistency. If you have a property that's listed 3 or 4 times on the same website, Le Bon Coin, and your photographs look beautiful and you've done a wonderful job in marketing, and then another agent or maybe the seller has taken terrible photographs, it dilutes the quality of their marketing essentially. So don't be afraid to sort of say, look, if you've got one advert, you'll get a better price for the property, your marketing won't be diluted, and I know that I can present it in a way that's going to be superior to my competitors, and I'm very confident in that. So it's keeping the presentation and the price in line with achieving the best possible price essentially for the property. What you also find sometimes, and I've certainly experienced it when I was an agent, is if you're working exclusively with the vendor and you have control of the buyers and the offers that are coming through, you're there as a salesperson to negotiate and get the best price from the buyer, the potential buyer. You can qualify them, you can really push the negotiating. If you're working in competition against other agents, the competition and their focus then comes against trying to get the property sold instead of the other agent, so you get your commission. And then the negotiation then becomes just getting an offer in, getting it signed off, getting it through, and the negotiation then becomes with the other agent rather than with the buyer trying to get the best price for the seller as well. So sometimes the dynamics can change and the seller isn't always aware about the different dynamics when you've got multiple agents competing for the same business. It becomes a competition between the agents rather than getting the best price for the seller from the buyer. Essentially 98% of buyers start and finish their home search online as well. So if you need any stats, I think Nico will certainly look into ones for the international marketing, the local marketing. I always found statistics really, really helpful to use during sort of a sales pitch, because it gives evidence and proof to what we're saying. So we will certainly help get those facts and figures for you, so you have that information. So I hope some of those USPs and sort of the new mandate information has been helpful. We do have courses on sales pitch, confidence building, how to win the mandate privilege, things like that in the training department. So do let me know, drop me an email anytime if you're interested. That's what we're here for in the training department. And yes, sorry.
Do you mind sharing your the resources website, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So
because
I will
there was
share.
Sarah's question regarding the list of portals.
Okay, so I will jump on the resource
So if
side.
you ever need to find the list of portals where we advertise, I'm sure you're all familiar with the resources website. We're in at the moment. You just type in, are you in French or English?
I'll be in English.
You're in English, okay, cool. So you type in portals, and then drop-down menu will come eventually. And it's that one. No. Are you in English? No.
Might be flipping it.
Oh, it was in French, I think. Portals, and in French, portail. You click here for the rules and fit conditions for all portals and partners. And when you click, you will get of all the portals, well, most of the portals where we advertise, and all the conditions are summed up here. So basically, there's a summary here. I can't remember where it is, but yeah, exclusive, published for 3 months without conditions, and for the mandat simple, it's date of publication, most recent mandate replacing other ones, and then you have the number of properties that are sent. Yeah, so you can go through all of them, and then the new international portals is here, and you find. We didn't put all the portals because it's pointless, but we have the top, I think it's the top 10 or 12, top 20 maybe here, realestate.com.au, realtor.com, MLS.com, and so on. Okay. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so I'll stop sharing that page. Let's just have a quick look. So has anyone got any questions that we're both here and we can help with? I know there's some couple of questions in chat, and I think Nico's just going to go through those. Is there anything else at all that we can help with?
Do you know when we're going to get the new how we market your property leaflets?
Sorry?
New how we market your property leaflets.
It's currently being redesigned. it's almost ready, and should be ready beginning of next week.
Okay.
And then you can order them as we've always done, and it's going to be uploaded in the resources website if you want an electronic version.
Okay. Yeah, it's useful to send that out when you're kind of arranging your mandate meetings, so people have got an idea.
Okay. So yeah, when that's ready, we can send it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. We had to redesign the whole thing. We thought, well, we won't just replace a couple of pages. Let's redo it completely. And I've seen the draft. It looks really good. It just needs a bit of fine tuning. And Joanna and myself are going to validate it beginning of next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
Greet, you had your hand up, or you've taken your hand down?
Yes, I was thinking if we make a new Avenant now, does it mean, because I saw it works for all the mandates that are taking after the 6th of March. So if we make a new Avenant, it works for those mandates as well, because they're. Yes?
Yes, it will.
Okay, thank you.
And if when you renew it or do the avenant, you see that the Service Plus tab does not appear, feel free to drop me an email, and there could be some slight bugs sometimes in Hestia, but it will be.
Okay, thank you.
Another thing that we haven't said, but that I can show you or explain to you when you have the Service Plus tab, you will see on the right hand side we will have I don't know if the screen is still sharing or not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I'm going to share it again. Share a tab. Is it that one? Yeah. Staging 3D, tac, up. So in the tab for that's, yes, you can see. So you will see a new tab here called Service Plus. And then on the left-hand side, you have the home staging 3D, and then you have also on the right-hand side, the proofreading. So if you're not confident with your level of French, we have someone here at head office, Johnny, who will proofread every single advert.
Oops,
If you feel confident, then no problem. You can just make a request and validate on the second click, and then Johnny won't even look at it.
Yeah. Hope that all makes sense.
Did it? Or not?
Yeah, no, it did. Did that make sense for everyone?
Yeah.
So all the links that we've shown, all the resource sites, I've got the example of the advert, how it looks. So I'll send it out to everyone. So you've got all of that information if you need it. And then essentially, yes, if anything does come up or you have any other questions, this chat will be open for a little while so we can both sit and answer any questions that you might have. Okay.
Okay, brilliant. Anything else, anyone? All good? All happy?